y'all, this is Marley K. Hope y'all are well. Want to share this video from Representative Jim Jordan's personal X page, which is formerly Twitter. But it's really important that you understand the types of surveillance we're all under and that we've been under for the last couple of years. And a lot of things are starting to come out. I told you a lot of things are going to be revealed this year. This is going to be a year of shocking revelations, not so shocking to us, those of us who are awakened and those of us who have been in this community for some time. But for a lot of people who are new, you're not going to really be able to grasp all the different ways that our freedoms have been infringed upon already without our permission. And part of this stems from 9/11, us giving, in the Patriot Act, basically giving away our power and authority in order to be what was deemed safe. But what we're going to eventually learn, hopefully, I don't know if folks are ever going to learn. Seems like folks just like keeping their heads stuck in the sand. That the more we relinquish our rights and we expect other people to protect us, the more that they have taken advantage of those opportunities for their nefarious reasons. And this is going to be another one of those revelations where people are going to be like, now, why are they spying on us? Well, we know now why they are spying on us. They want to know exactly who has what. So when it's time to come confiscate your stuff, they can confiscate it. They want to know who they have to worry about. Um, who's a threat? Who's hoarding? Who has excess? Who has something that could, potentially thwart our plans? Who hasn't been doing anything, who has resources, who doesn't have resources, those types of things. So pay attention to this video. I'm going to make the screen bigger before I start it so it won't cut up during the video. And I want you to understand. Oh, and let me give a shout out to Only Pamela's Way, because she sent this to me. I didn't know anything about this video until she shared it with me, although I knew that Uncle Sam, through alphabet agencies, can pretty much do anything that they want to do, um, for any reason. They'll find a back door to do whatever it is that they want to do. And what the takeaway should be for us is we have to be careful when you're making purchases with your cards, going in certain stores, buying certain things. And we'll talk about this at the end of this video.
To a very disturbing report from Jim Jordan. Now, get this. Apparently, federal investigators were asking banks to search the personal transactions of individual Americans for terms like Trump and MAGA. Banks were also asking to use merchant category codes to identify potentially suspicious transactions. And what transactions did Treasury think were so suspicious? Small arms, sporting, recreational goods. In other words, if you go to stores like Dick's Sporting Goods and Bass Pro Shops. By the way, I got my boots for Iowa at Dick's Sporting Goods. Thank God for Instacart. If you're a law-abiding American who legally purchased a gun after 2021, your government thought you needed to be monitored. Now sources are telling Fox News Digital tonight that the impetus for this very serious invasion of privacy was, of course, none other than January 6th. Now, these revelations should scare every single American. You want to talk about privacy, constitutional rights, or do you want to live in an Orwellian nightmare with Big Brother? And by the way, so should Biden's wide open borders, which, by the way, continues to have real consequences. Americans, they're fighting back. The family of a 20-year-old woman who was strangled to death by an illegal immigrant who turned out to be an MS 13 gang member, is now suing the Biden administration, saying that she would be alive today if Joe Biden enforced our nation's border laws. Here with the latest on all of this, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan.
Okay, don't get caught up in this immigration stuff because Congress in general is responsible for maintaining national borders. And so it doesn't matter about a political party. Both political parties are supposed to do this. And these borders have been open for a long, long time. Um, they never changed the laws. They can't ever come to an agreement on changing the laws. That was the whole plan. Like this whole gridlock thing is just a bunch of BS. So that we can get to this point here. And while there are fundamental differences in the rationale as to why one party opposes open border, well, is for open borders, and the other one isn't for open borders, at the end of the day, it's all tied to racism for these white nations. But and not just white nations, all nations have a right to keep out the people that they don't want in, and to keep in the people that they want in. And if you want to come in, they have a right to screen you. There's a process for that. But America and a lot of these Western nations have decided that they need open borders because that's how you get a world everything. There are no borders anymore. You can't go, you can go any place, you can do anything. But also open borders helps to destabilize countries, and people who are aware of history understand that. So that's the other reason that people are so staunchly opposed to open borders, because once you start having open borders, if you have a culture, if you have norms, if you have laws, people will just flood you and come in with whatever they want to come in with, and then demand that their culture, their norms, their ways be acknowledged and grafted into the society. And then what you have is just a big old, you know, collision, and eventually a collapse, because some folks, will believe that their culture takes priority, or they're not being respected and they want more. And that's kind of how this country was founded. And this is how this country is dying. So it's ironic that the pilgrim settlers, the thieves, the land thieves came here while people were already here, took the land, called it theirs, decided what borders were going to be borders, uh, created a culture and norms, erased the norms of the people that were already here. And now this thing is happening to them and they are up in arms. But this is just the natural law of reaping and sowing. You have sown this throughout the world and in this country. And so now you're reaping what you've done. And instead of people just being like, okay, I gotta take this L because we did this, our ancestors did this, and we're paying for the sins of our ancestors. They're just like, they don't know what happened. This is not right. And so, from a spiritual viewpoint, we have to understand a lot of things that are happening in this country. Although we see it as orchestrated chaos, we see the plan that the enemy or the adversary has put in place to make these things happen, is also the end of their rule. And so part of the ending of their rule, whether it's here in the United States or globally, is that they have to go down. And so you're gonna see a lot of things happen to these people who are crying about borders and crying about this taken away and that taken away and this changing. They're the people that forced everybody else to change and conform to their ways and to their lives. And so now their lives are going to be um, turned upside down, and their ways are going to be no more, and their rule is going to be over, and they're going to go out with a fight. So while we are looking at these disclosures and all this stuff and listening to what they say, you have to take into consideration that Esau and them, the Edomites, them peoples, children of the corn, are reaping what they have sown. This is the end of their rule, and what you're seeing is them trying to go out with a bang. They're fighting to retain power, they're fighting to maintain their ways, their culture, because they understand this is the end of them. Some people do not understand this is the end of white supremacy rule. It's going to be a global rule, and it's not going to be Anglo-Saxons who ruling. Um, it's going to be something else that I'm not going to be able to say. But I really and truly believe that this is what we're seeing is the final clause of them trying to maintain power. And we're going to see a lot of this crying out this year. But you got to remember, this nation was founded by land theft. It was founded by stealing people and having those people stolen, build it for free, and then continuing to oppress those people for 400 years. Those people were removed from their borders, brought here, told where we could and couldn't move. So you just kind of have to think of it from this perspective. These people are reaping what they've sown, and they can't take it. They can dish it, but they cannot take it.
It just so happens I went to Dick's Sporting Goods, ordered from them boots when I was headed to Iowa, where I saw you, and the wind chill was 20 below zero. And I'm glad that they had great boots, great traction. I'm happy I went there. I want to understand this. Tell me what they did here, because do we not have privacy anymore in America? Is this not a constitutional violation, unreasonable search and seizure?
Yeah, now in the last year, Sean, we've exposed the censorship where you had big government, big tech, big media, big academia working to censor Americans. Now we have financial surveillance where it's big government working with big banks, big corporations to surveil, to spy on Americans. And so it was big banks looking and searching private transactions using key terms at the suggestion of the federal government to find out what you're buying, what you're spending your money on. Scary stuff. All it looks like, without any warrant, without any legal process, they undertook this as a way to identify domestic violent extremism. And here's what it sounds a lot like. Remember that memorandum in Richmond about pro-life Catholics are extremists because they go to church and they're pro-life and they talk about, protecting human life. That's exactly what these documents sound like. We're right on the front edge of this. We'll see how it all progresses. But it's scary stuff. It's financial surveillance of the American people.
All right. So as you can see, they are monitoring everything that we do. If you go to Bass Pro Shop like I do, and if you've shopped there over the last 3 years, you probably been looked at. Same if you go to any sporting goods store, if you maybe purchase some stuff from Walmart. So understand, when you purchase or make transactions with any type of electronic payment, it is traceable. So that is why I've been telling people, shop at thrift stores, take your money out, get some cash, even if you got to do a little bit at a time. I know these ATMs and these banks have changed a lot of their policies as far as cash withdrawals and ATM limits. Get cash and go buy and do whatever you need to do. Um, Even if it's for little small stuff like camping stuff, um, winter gear, summer gear, fishing stuff, um, whatever you're getting, just keep in mind that we are under a different type of surveillance since the of 2020, 2021. And they want to know who's a threat, who's not, who has stuff, who doesn't. And they're preparing for civil unrest. So they're going to know exactly where to go. They're going to know exactly who to go pick up. They're going to know exactly what you have and what you could potentially have, even if it's not on your person. and understand now there's this whole other new global international set of laws that's getting ready to hit the streets. And we're not necessarily privy to those yet. I'm going to be digging trying to find them, but we got to just understand the times that we're living in. You got to think before you do everything. And I hate to say that we need to be skeptical or um, question all things, but I mean, it's the truth. We can see, and while I believe the Creator has, set this time is appointed for us to go through the things that we are going through. I do not think that this information is coming out by accident. And so, if you can avoid missteps, do so. If you need to make purchases of certain things, you know how to make those purchases now. Understand while they said MAGA, they are looking for specific things. So even if you don't have those things, if you have those certain codes that they were looking for, then you're being looked at. So, sometimes you can't buy stuff without having those types of um, transactions take place. So I understand, but you do need to pay attention to the fact that we are all being monitored all the time now. And while I really think that there's little we can do about it because they've got us all ensnared in these systems, if you can um, be independent and below the radar, then do so. Um, it's getting real tricky out here, y'all. And here it is 2024. We're just learning this, but this stuff was taking place in 2021, 2022. So, for the last couple of years, people have been making transactions, making plans, doing things that didn't even realize this, which is unfortunate for all of us. But we all should be suspicious at this point. And another lesson is, how the media labeled all these people who were suspicious and saying stuff as conspiracy theorists and quacks and Qs and all calling people all these nicknames, and a lot of the things that those people said are true now 3 years later. They're not theories, they're actual true. They're not conspiracies, they're not theories, it's actually true. And so, this is like another lesson with the cough cough, that they will label somebody a liar, they will call you crazy, they will say you are um not telling the truth. And then whenever they decide they want the truth to come out or it can't be suppressed anymore, it comes out. And then nobody goes back and amends the record to apologize to the people who were called crazy, who were mislabeled, who were ostracized and shunned by the community, whether it's online or at church or your own family. Like nothing ever happens. And so you can't have a society. The other thing to understand is that this is why we will never go back to the way that things were, because since say 2016, really I would go back to 2008, America was divided after President Obama got elected. Them 8 years, this country was done. Then you got 4 years of Trump, done. Stick a fork in her. And then we got Papa. Oh, and you see all the stuff that he's done. Nobody expected him to come in and be a wrecking ball, but done exactly that. And we understand why, because he's a globalist and he has always been a part of the New World Order and their agenda. And so we definitely have to look at the big picture, but understand we're never going back to the way we were. People are not going to trust each other. People are going to continue to use these labels, conspiracy theorists, crazy, whatever. And no matter what comes out, they will never recall what happened in the past or how they were wrong or whatever, because their minds are retarded now. I'm sorry to say that. and I am even talking about people in my own family, people that I know. Like, people are their minds have been stunted. They are fearful. They are cowards. They are just their minds cannot grow anymore, and they are not gonna try to make. They're gonna stretch the brains to make them grow. Just gonna be retarded. Um, so I just don't know how we move forward, except for what you know. If you walk in truth, continue to walk in truth. Continue to keep searching for truth. Um, that's all we can do. Be about the truth. Be aware. Keep watch. Stay awake. Don't fall asleep. Don't be a sheep. When you see the sheep going one way, you go the opposite direction. Um, there are just some very simple principles right now that we need to live by, and be suspicious of everything. I know it's a whole lot of extra work. For some people, it's nerve wracking. If it ain't for you, then don't do it. Um, I, I'm about this life. If it's something bad, I could take it. If it's something that I need to know, I can deal with it. I can figure it out. It does not bother me. And then people, are like, "Oh, you always doom and gloom," and no, the end of the world is here. It is doom and gloom. That's what you should be looking for. If you're looking for sunshine and rainbows and cotton candy, it's something wrong with you. The whole world is on fire. So, don't let people discourage you because they are incapable of dealing with reality. This is reality, and it's going to get worse. So let us be about our business, uh, protecting yourself, being aware that this new global system, this beast infrastructure is in place. And when revelations like these happen, to me, it just goes to show how much of this system is already, this infrastructure is already in place. And, this is just a programming. This is uh, uh, just a formality, the next step to tokenization, where they program our cards and our currency to be able to make purchases and can't make purchases at certain places. So see it as a revelation, see it as where things are going, and then try to prepare so that you don't have to be in this system as best you can. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how any of us are going to function and what is going to come of uh, all these different obstacles that are coming in our way, keeping us from being free. But do believe that the Creator has a plan for us. I believe that He is going to protect us. I believe that He is revealing stuff to those who have eyes to see and ears to hear. And I believe that there is going to be a way out for us. I just believe that. And I believe that there are going to be some people who not going to see the way out because they love this world, they love this system, they believe in man, they believe, um, in only the things that they can touch and see. They don't believe in the unseen. They don't have the faith that we have. They don't have the spirit that we have. Um, and so, with that said, I want y'all to just keep in mind we're going to be seeing a whole lot of revelations. Don't allow those revelations to go by. So that's all I got. I'm going to end this video. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Um, Hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload new content. Please hit the all button so that you'll get all the notifications. And also follow me on Rumble and Odyssey. The links are in the description. In the event that this channel goes down, I will be able to still communicate with you and create content and share with you. Some of these uh, Uncle Sam surveilled social media platforms are going to start monitoring more of what we say and accuse us of misinformation and disinformation. So in the future, I'm going to do a whole lot more reading of other people's stuff and less of my own discussion to avoid being accused of misinformation or disinformation. Um, it's getting rough out here, y'all. It's getting rough, but we got this. Stay awake, keep watch, keep prepping, keep praying, keep seeking the Creator, obey those laws, statutes, and commandments, learn those laws, statutes, and commandments. Repent for your sins daily, sins of commission and sins of omission. And make sure you are being safe because we got a lot of things that we got to navigate and it requires thought. So take your time and think things out before you make any moves so that you can keep you and your families safe. All right, y'all. This is Marley K, and I am out of here. Link for this will be in the description.